Welcome students. In this topic, we will learn about square butt joint on 3 mm thick aluminum sheet in flat position using OAW process.
At the end of this topic, you will be able to select appropriate filler rod for tack welding and welding process. Prepare and set plates for square butt joint in flat position. Tack weld. Inspect the weldments for defects. Now, let us look at the tools required for a square butt joint on a 3 mm thick aluminum sheet in flat position using OAW process. Steel rule, scriber, nozzle, ball peen hammer, flat file, bench vise, tri-square, tongs, chipping hammer, steel wire brush, filler rod, oxygen and acetylene cylinder and welding torch, personal protective equipment, a respirator. Now let us see the important pre-welding preparation steps of square butt joint on 3 mm thick aluminum sheet in flat position by OAW process. Prepare aluminum sheets 150 mm length by 50 mm width. Clean the sheets to remove the surface oxide and other impurities using stainless steel wire brush or solvent. Apply the pasty flux on the butting edges. Adjust the pressure of oxygen between 0.5 and 1.41 kg per square centimeter and acetylene at 0.8 to 0.15 kg per square centimeter. Set the sheets with 1.5 mm to 2 mm root gap. As the thermal expansion of aluminum is more, the root gap can be set such that it increases at about 1 mm per 100 mm length of the joint for butt welds. Fix nozzle number 5 on the blowpipe. Adjust a strict neutral flame. Since setting a strict neutral flame is difficult, a very slight carburizing flame is set for welding aluminum. Apply the pasty flux on the filler rod. Tack weld at both ends of the joint and at the center. Preheat the job to a temperature of 150 degrees to 180 degrees to reduce the effect of expansion during welding using the blowpipe flame itself. Now, let us look at the welding process of square butt joint on 3 mm thick aluminum sheet in flat position by OAW process. Start welding by the leftward technique by holding the blowpipe at an angle of 40 degrees to 50 degrees and the filler rod at an angle of 30 degrees to 40 degrees. Do not remove the filler rod end from the outer envelope of the flame till the welding is over. Wash the weld by rinsing in hot or cold water. As the end of the joint is approached, reduce the blowpipe and filler rod angle and raise the inner cone. This is done to avoid burn-through of the joint. As there is no color change when aluminum melts, watch carefully for any shrinking of oxide film on the surfaces of the base metal, which indicates the starting of base metal melting. Now, we will look at the important points to follow for square butt joint on a 3 mm thick aluminum sheet in flat position using OAW process. Lack of root penetration, Lack of root fusion. Distortion. Humps. Recap.
In this topic, you have learned to select appropriate filler rod for tack welding and welding process. Prepare and set plates for square butt joint in flat position. Tack weld. Inspect the weldments for defects.